Hello and welcome to another episode of Space Engineers. And oh my god, I have been so hard at work along this tunnel. This has been the largest project I have ever worked on in this game by far. This tunnel just goes on forever. But it's all built now. My main tunnels to the lighthouse area and over to the city area are all done. In total, from the hangar to the lighthouse is just over a kilometer, if I'm not mistaken, and from the hangar to the city is over 2.5 kilometers. Like, you can look in the distance there, and the voxels aren't even loading in properly because it's such a long distance. it's a little ridiculous. And I believe I've figured out what the missing block bug was, or just like individual blocks would disappear. It's gotta do with build and repair. Not that build and repair is bad, but I was just overdoing it. Having a build and repair every section was way too much, and after turning them off for a while, I didn't have hardly any blocks disappear. There was only like one that continued there, so that was probably just a fluke. And after going in and removing a lot of those build and repairs, I haven't had any issues. So yeah, figured that out. But here we are. We're riding up the elevator out to the city. Another classic elevator of mine. Oh my god, driving out into the sunlight. Oh, it's so pretty. Unfortunately, this road is just a hologram so far, but we can jump off of it here and drive through it. Oh god, the ridge there is a bit much. There we go. All terrain off the side of it. But here we are. We have made it through. We are ready to start planning our city. So, if I pop back into the spectator camera, you can take a look at the majestic glory that is that tunnel. Look how big it is. Oh, it's too big. It's ridiculous. I recorded myself going all the way back here, starting at the lighthouse, drove in, rode all the elevators down, drove down this tunnel here. Oh god, that's like a strobe effect. You can go so fast. Up this elevator. And then down this tunnel here. Oh god, it's still going. We're still going. And then up and out. And it took me like 4 minutes. 4.5 minutes to drive. If we take a look at the bottom of the shaft here, yeah, 2.5 kilometers to the middle of the hangar. That is ridiculous, and I'm super proud that it is it is this big. So in total, considering it was 25 meters by 20 meters by 2.5 kilometers, and the other one was approximately 1 kilometer, so 3.5 kilometers. That's gotta be over a like 1 cubic kilometer, I believe, or it's gotta be close to like a cubic kilometer of stone that I have removed to make my tunnels and hangars and elevators and such. It is getting ridiculous. But now I can start to design my city and make it somewhat functional. I have also piped out a little bit of piping here, so the coming up, coming over, and actually popping out up here, so that way if I want to, I can just run piping like a oil pipe or something across the ground, I don't need to have it buried, so that way I can have some access to it. As I'd like to do a lot more of my building out here without build and repair, because I don't need it as much. I should just be able to do these projections. I can bring up the paver, and I can do this work, and I can create some buildings and just do the work by hand, or set up some sort of blueprint printer contraption, and it should be fun. Now, I think I want to connect everything on a nice highway here. So I've got these roads, and this is the same width here. It's a full 11 wide, like my full size of the doorways, and so the interior is 9. We've got it set up so that every 11 this way is 1 with 3 white, 2, right, so like 1 of the gray, 3 white, 2 gray, 3 white, and then repeats. And it's like a 9 by 9 by 7 every 2 dashes of white. And so then I can keep everything on my nice grid. If I want to, later on, I can make my tunnels and come up right underneath my my roads if I need to, which would be very useful if I ever want to run some utilities down there. But now, the real question is, where am I going to put everything and what am I going to build? Because I've been getting a lot of great blueprints, and I think the first thing I want to start with is the museum. This was made by Bride of Alice, which is my buddy from playing MechWarrior Online, and he's made a planetarium historical engineering section and a fine art gallery. And I really wonder what's in the fine art gallery. I already know. I've already looked at it, but I have to build this thing. And I think this kind of should be... Oh, where should this be? We can just start to imagine now. We have this giant space and sort of block out some areas where we want to build certain things. So with the entrance to the base there, we could sort of make this initial bit here, say, more of a reception, like commercial, there would be shops sort of stuff. So let's put that GPS down. This is going to be like the commercial district here. We'll put some shops in the museum there. I'm thinking industry is going to be towards the ice, so that way I can access other mining stuff down there. There'll probably be the road will probably turn and come down through here. We'll put a highway right here, I'd say. Highway. Oh, highway. There we go. And then as we come down here, this area here will just be a cluster of industry on these rocks and a little bit on the water, as that way we can get some nice flat areas to build with. So right down here will be industry district. And I'm thinking for those, I can use Haltech stuff, because I really like his sort of modular buildings that he's done, where like he's got ore refineries, he's got fuel refineries, functional refinery that drains ice from connected vehicles automatically. And I could do this with, I could build myself a trucking vehicle and truck things around, or I could even have some drones flying around. This would be easier access if I made the industry here for the hive eventually, which is going to be up there on the mountain. So I'm thinking I'm going to build a selection of Haltech stuff down here, with then the sort of upper on the hills back here is going to be like the upper class, oh god, I'm not going to hit art, there we go, the upper class residential, the rich district. where we'll have some nice villas and maybe hotels, and there's a wonderful one in here called Clang Towers that I really want to make that I think looks awesome, and we can have it up there. Other than that, we'll just have some back here in this relatively flat area. We can just do some normal residential district. Alright, so that should be a plan. And then the only other thing I can think of is, because I haven't touched it yet in this playthrough, and I do wish to eventually get there, as I have the wing blocks mod installed, which will allow me to make some planes. So right out here on the ice, where we have plenty of room to make it, we will put in an airport. And so that way, we'll have a nice approach thrown down that valley. We can either land on the ice or make a runway for us out here. More than likely, we'll just land on the ice, but put a few hangars, maybe sunk into the hill, put a control tower, air traffic control tower. I definitely want to make this, and then put a few hangars beside it, and that will connect over here. So I'm super excited. I don't think every single one of these needs to be a separate grid, because after turning off and removing, as you can see, I've removed pretty much every single build and repair along the underneath of these tunnels. I haven't had any issues with just random blocks despawning. So it wasn't a grid size issue. It was entirely a build and repair issue. With the only build and repair that I left is one by the elevator. The elevator is a complex piece of machinery. I'd like to have one there for repairs in case it gets damaged. But beyond that, there's one there for this elevator, and then just the ones around the hangar to repair and build anything that I need from the hangar. So I think I can get started with this and extend this road out a bit here, then connect it up to the museum and get the museum being built. Either more than likely through a combination of build and repairs, because I can take this tube and extend it out and just build some build and repairs wherever, and do it some of it manually. So I think it is time for me to stop flying around here, jump back in my rover, whip on back down to the base, and grab the paver, actually, and fill it up with all sorts of goodies, as I am going to definitely need it to build this road. And leap. There we go. Oh, that was beautiful. And down the elevator. And driving back to the base.
Oh god, this paver is painfully slow.
Oh god. I have increased its top speed, and it's still painfully slow. What I will have to do, I definitely do not want to do this drive every single time I need more resources. So, I've got just enough stuff on me right now to get a build and repair set up out there, so that it can automatically call for stuff that I need, and I can set up a new connection for this craft out there, so that I can refill this thing back at essentially the exit of this tunnel. So that way I don't have to constantly make my way back along here and driving for minutes at a time, which would be ridiculous. The other thing is that a lot of the blueprints that I've been sent have subgrids, and subgrids that are just like simple subgrids. They're complex. They have things on them, LCDs that have images displayed on them. They have like piston elevators that are all set up. So there's a problem there with the ability that I have to project your guys' designs into my world. I still want to legitimately build them because it's a challenge and it's a use of resources, which I think is part of the experience. But also, I don't want to have to spend a whole bunch of time trying to replicate the intricacies of all these little subgrids and such. So I'm trying to think about how I should do that. I'm thinking what might be useful is to project it with, of course, they won't project with subgrids, but it'll project and I can build it. Then once I've spent the resources to build it, delete it with creative and paste in sort of the correct version. It's a little cheaty because there's going to be bits of stuff that I sort of didn't pay for with the subgrids. But then I don't have to screw around with it, and you guys can send me anything. It could be a massive quantity of subgrids, and I can just sort of like build a blob of blocks that it's equivalent to in terms of resources and sacrifice them to the clan gods in order to appease them for the amount of resources I'd need to spend. And then I can just paste it in. I wonder if that would be appropriate. It would be fair. But, yeah, you can give me your opinion on that. I think it will be fine. Like, for example, with this museum that I want to build first, I know for a fact with that art gallery, he's got LCDs on rotors rotating around that are programmed with images. And I'd have to go and find the images, use Whip's image converter, paste them in myself, and that would be quite annoying to do. So the fact that he's already done that makes it a lot easier. So I think I'm going to do it that way. But you can tell me if I'm a cheaty bastard in the comments. Alright, so that's the start of that. But what we really need to do is get this thing slapped in right here. Boom. And I have enough stuff to build this. And then we can get this thing on. And it can start calling for resources. And get the build and repair group 1. Oh, I have a couple of them that are titled weirdly. This is 21. I'll make you quiet. So this is going to be build and repair city exit. And we'll get you a member of the build and repair group 1, which then you can start to call for resources. And you're starting to build my road, which is excellent. The other thing is we will quickly get this road set up, I think. If I can steal some steel plates as well. And a little offshoot off this road, I think, right here. And then we'll bring this pipe forward, drop it down, and have it connect up to this rover. And I think... oh. If I do this correctly, I should be able to drive this rover off the edge of this... right? Because I needed that little bit of height with my my rover for this to function properly. So I should, if this rover is capable of driving off a slight edge here, if I bring those back up, turn my welders off, I can drive off the edge here, and then have a connection, say, about like right there that I can connect to. Oh my god, I'm slipping. Come on, park up. There you go. And it could eventually will be get it to the right level where I can connect up to it. on this ridge line, and then I can just drive back onto the road right here in order to get back to where I'm at. Excellent. So that way I don't have to screw around with a bunch of hinges again. I can just do it with the connectors and conveyors and such, which I don't have any interior plates, which is unfortunate. Make me interior plates. Thank you, assemblers. You are very useful. So, we'll come forward a few. Let's... Because all this is just going to be sort of gantry way. It's going to eventually get removed or repurposed in a way. And then we'll go downwards. Right there. Oh, that's a three-way. I don't want that. We'll do those later. There's a curved one. Downwards, please. And then we'll straight down until we get to here. And we'll curve our way back this way. And then we just need to go a few forward until we're aligned with where this guy's going to be. Although realistically, I should temporarily make this a junction. So that way I can continue going straight if I need to. And about, yeah, that'll work. If I put a connector on the end of that, that'll work. I just need to move a couple inches forward here. Just a little wiggle. Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. And not be too front heavy in this damn rover. And then, oh, I know what I should put on this. Do I not have it on here? Junctions. Oh, come on. I should have the sorter. Yeah, there it is. I should set up a sorter on this side. And I can just push steel plate to this connector. So that way whenever I park in, I can steal steel plate. And I don't have to worry about the build and repairs taking it all for themselves. Yeah, that'll work. That'll work perfectly. Let's get all that stuff built up. Come on, build and repair. Do my important bits first. That is what is required of you. Although, unfortunately, all my assemblers, I had them going in the middle of making a bunch of steel plates. I will cut their steel plates from their production line so that they can be requested of to make other stuff as needed. So, make me a connector, make me a sorter, make me a bunch of tubes. And that should get itself built up quite nicely. As, unfortunately, all that is on main assembler. I dislike that. Dislike it when it does that. Oh well. On the other assemblers, let's help it along by just giving them some generic. You build me a couple thousand interior plates. You do some construction. You do computers. You can do small steel tubes. You can do steel plates. And you can do motors. And then everything will go quickly. While that is just about finishing, we can move our way down this road and get ourselves to a place where we can project out this museum. I have to think about how I want this to come off the road. There we go. These are on the 9x9 blocks as well. So this right here is the edge. So that it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This would be where a wall would be. If I was doing that, that's where an arc over top would be. Then again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For the interior, boom. And I think I kind of want to repeat those all the way down, so that way I can sort of tell where the edges of it are. And, ooh, this is done. How wonderful. We'll set this to be whitelist, and it will just be steel plate right now. Steel plate. Add. And it's going to be drain all? Not yet. Not yet. We'll eventually have it drain all. But at least this way, what was happening before is I would pull steel plate into this, and then the Izzy sorting script would pull it out of it before I could disconnect the ship. So at least this way, you can't pull the resources that I pull into the ship manually. You can't pull them out. But I'm just going to quickly go down the line here, lay out where the 9x9 spots are going to be, essentially where this road is going to turn in towards the museum, and then place the museum projector. Okay, so museum, let's rotate you around. We want the entrance to be that way. That is good. And now we can slide you into place. I'm thinking aligned right there. Pull you up and slide you back into the hill. We may have to do some removal of stone and such to make you fit into the hill nicely. But from the top of the road there, right up your ramp, that should be good. The let's see what some of the art is already. He's also designed this to have a little bit of flex in terms of its basement. So the rooms here, I mean, this does need some digging, but the sort of the foundations of it go down further than is required. Although this is a bit too much of a slope for this building, which is unfortunate. I should maybe make it the other direction. If not, I should have it a little bit higher if I wanted to have it there off of the road. Let's flip it around and let's see what it looks like the other direction. Which will be number 3, and then move it around this way. On to the other side of the road. Ooh, that could be better. I could have a ramp down off the road, down to relatively dirt height here. Pull back this way a bit. I don't even really need to have this facing into the road either. I could have this facing that way. So I can slide it out even further this way, out to my max, even if I might need to move the projector to this. But I could do it right. Oop, not that way. Right there. Just like so. And you can see here, there's his couple blocks of flex until you get to his floors. So I can sink this down a little bit further until all these blocks have sunk into the ground. Yeah, that's all sunk in. That's all sunk in. We have the floors are still visible. I think this might be a good positioning for it. Now, the question is, I could use this area as like a little parking lot if I wanted to. So I could leave that there for now. I need some ramp. Yes. definitely ramp. And grab some interior plates from there. The sun is going down. What a concept. I've been living inside of the tunnels for so long. Having the sun go down is a wonderful thing. A wonderful change. So, right... Oh, here? Or here? Right here. We can do an entire line of ramp coming down. That is in total 9 across, which will be good. We'll also... I'm not sure how I want to do the edges. I think we'll have the edges nice and straight here. And then we can do another set of ramp. Do a light armor slope down here to give us a connection point. Oh, that one is one too far back. And then we'll do another set of ramp. And let's make a nice big chonkin' ramp all the way down. I think one more down will be good. As we are reaching the limits there. And then that should be a nice, smooth drive down from road level down to the ground here. Now I can decide whether or not I want to have actual block down here be like my roads, or if I want to, because I could, if I wanted to, I could pop on creative tools. Or do I need to pop on creative tools to do this? Yes, I need to pop on creative tools to access them. What I can do is open up voxel hands and what was the key button for... There we go. Voxel hands. Project to the voxel. And I could, if I wanted to, just set this to that. And if I middle click, I can change what's there. So now I can get rid of the grass if I wanted to. And I could go around and I could paint, essentially, different types of stone. So I could essentially choose what I want to be as sort of like my my gravel driveways, or what would be asphalt if I wanted to. Of course, you could also do this with resources, but let's not do that. So I can go back around, and you can see just in the bottom right of the screen, right below my horizon indicator, I can choose different things, and I can go grass, and just put the grass back. So I could do that. There's grass bare. Ooh, I can do that just to get rid of the actual grass that is being drawn. Grass old. Yeah. Whatever I would want to put there, I could with the voxel hands. Alternatively, I can rip up this ground with the drill and fills, which would be quite easy, and I could create entire parking lots and stuff out of armor blocks. And honestly, I don't really care. Either way works for me. I'll just need to figure out a good way and then continue doing it that way for all of my different areas here. And something like that. Yeah, that should look good. Get my ramp back so I can add in some of them up there. Not sure if I need to yet. I think just in the meantime I need to build my road out, get it all connected, slightly adjust where these buildings are, figure out whether or not I'm going to do a a voxel change here to make it more appealing to drive on, or if I should just dig up everything and put in armor blocks for me to drive on. But at least the city has been officially begun construction with the museum. We didn't get it started today, but oh man, we'll get it building. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's out of range of this thing. Because I want to build this thing without building repairs. What's your range? Show me. Yes, quite easily outside of its range. So, next episode, we will figure out what we're going to do here. We'll make a parking lot for the museum, and we'll build a museum with various contraptions. I think we need to build a flying welder. We have the welder paver ship. We should also make some sort of like gantry crane that is able to weld things at a height, and just get some build some things that'll help us build bigger things. But that's going to be it for now. We're moving out into the daylight. Oh, so much better. Thanks for watching. And good hunting out there, fellow Space Engineers.